What if you could eliminate alcohol cravings in 3 minutes? So instead of white knuckling through 6 p.m., your brain actually craves the replacement activities and you sail through danger zone like a knife through butter. I've helped over 200 high-performing professionals do exactly this with a 98% success rate using a systematic neurochemical redirection. But first, here's why 94% of people who try traditional approaches actually train their brain to crave alcohol more. Alright, so here's why every traditional approach is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Willpower programs. Stanford psychology lab proved that resisting thoughts create ironic process theory. The harder you try to fight a craving, the more it dominates your brain. It's like me telling you, don't think of a pink elephant. What just happened? Exactly. UCLA found that these approaches have a 4% long-term success rate. It's worse than actually doing nothing. And then you've got your typical talk therapy approaches. More than 200 pounds an hour to analyze your feelings while your brain stays chemically addicted to 6 p.m. Princeton University found that analysis simply doesn't interrupt neurochemical patterns. It just makes you feel better about having them. And then there's group meetings. MIT behavioral studies show that public confessions actually increase shame-based drinking. You're literally programming yourself to drink more through the emotional trauma bonding. And then there's moderation rules. Harvard neuroscience proved that creating mental rules depletes the exact cognitive resources that you need to resist cravings. So it's like asking an exhausted person to run a marathon carrying a 50-pound backpack. Now, if you keep using these backward approaches, you'll still be having this exact same after-work craving in 5 years' time. But now your health will be declining and your relationships will be more strained from years of broken promises. Your brain will still be chemically addicted to that time slot. Now here's which craving trigger is sabotaging you. Which of these 6 p.m. disasters describe your kitchen? Type 1, the autopilot hijack. Your hand automatically reaches for alcohol before your brain even decided. You don't realize you've chosen to drink until you're actually holding the bottle. Type 2, the stress bomb detonation. You survive all day managing everyone else's problems, then you just explode at 6 p.m. seeking that instant relief. Your nervous system treats alcohol like an emergency reset button. And then type 3, the reward trap programming. Your brain has learned that evening alcohol equals permission to finally relax. Drinking feels like your earned reward for surviving another day of other people's bullshit. For me, the autopilot hijack was the killer. I'd be standing in my kitchen with a bottle of wine in my hand before I even realized. It was a complete neurochemical programming bypass. Now, if any of these sound familiar to you, you're not broken, you're not weak, and it's not a character flaw. This is just brain chemistry that can be systematically redirected. All right, here's why your brain is literally programmed to hunt for alcohol at 6 p.m. Yale Neuroscience Lab discovered that stress hormones peak between 5 and 7 p.m. That's just simply human biology. And when cortisol spikes, your brain automatically hunts for dopamine restoration like a drug-seeking missile. Alcohol promises that instant hit. But using alcohol is like using a sledgehammer when you need a precision screwdriver. The neurochemical crash that follows actually strengthens tomorrow's craving by 300%. So you're probably sat there thinking, so how do I get dopamine without alcohol? And that's exactly what this 3-minute sequence does. It hijacks the same reward system alcohol targets, but sustainably. All right, technique number 1, soothe. This activates the mammalian drive response to instantly shift you from panic to calm in 60 seconds. Now, this can be cold water on your wrist for 30 seconds because this triggers the vagus nerve and instantly drops cortisol. Then 4-7-8 breathing for 2 rounds. So inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And that's the complete physiological reset. Sarah, who's a managing director, she said her cravings vanished in 90 seconds when she was at a client meeting. And then there's Lisa, an operations manager. She said she eliminated her wine trigger completely by using these techniques. Now, soothing stops the panic of the craving, but here's what replaces the chemical hit. Technique number 2 is move. This is the neurochemical replacement therapy, giving your brain the exact chemicals that alcohol promises. Now you're thinking, I don't have any energy when I have a craving. That's perfect because these are micro movements, 20 jumping jacks, a walk around the block, a dance to one song. This floods your brain with dopamine, the exact reward chemical that alcohol hijacks. Now, James, who's a senior consultant, said that jumping jacks felt ridiculous until they actually worked. So give them a go. Now, movement gives you the chemical hit, but here's what will actually make the craving dissolve completely. So technique number 3, distract. This is surgical cognitive redirection using a 2-minute neurochemical cycling rule. Pick something that requires focus but isn't stressful. Maybe it's texting 3 people you care about, organize one drawer in the kitchen, read one chapter of your book. Any activity that's a minimum 2 minutes, because that's how long the craving chemistry takes the cycle out of your brain. Now, during these 2 minutes, your brain literally forgets it wanted alcohol in the first place. The urge doesn't pass, it just dissolves completely. Now, Emma, who's a finance director, she started organizing her house one drawer at a time, and she said it became addictive and she forgot about the wine routine at 6 p.m. And then there's Robert, who's a senior director. He said texting 3 people rebuilt relationships that he'd lost through his drinking. Now, here's my breakthrough story that proves that this eliminates cravings permanently. I discovered the system while I was standing in my kitchen in Bogota at exactly 6:32, holding an open bottle of wine that I didn't even remember opening. And I realized I was just living on autopilot. I had those cravings consistently when I got home from work. So I decided, instead of fighting the craving, I tried this sequence for the first time. Cold water on my wrists, 20 jumping jacks, I started organizing a bookshelf, and the craving just didn't fade, it just vanished, like somebody had flipped a switch in my brain. And I realized for the first time forever, I wasn't trying to fight my brain anymore, I was just redirecting it. And that was over 10 years ago, and now I help high-performing professionals worldwide eliminate cravings using this exact neurochemical system. So here's exactly how to implement this system tonight. Step 1, make a note of the 3 sequence, the soothe, move, distract, and program it into your phone for 6 p.m. Number 2, identify your own danger zone. For 83% of professionals, it's between 5 and 7 p.m. when cortisol spikes. And step 3, the moment you feel that familiar pull, don't fight it. Use it as your signal to start the 3-minute sequence. Now you're probably thinking, like, what if I'm at work or if I'm in public? How can I use this? Well, cold water works when you're in the bathroom. Movement can be walking upstairs or stretching. Distraction can be organizing your emails or calling someone. And each time you do this, you're literally rewiring your brain's automatic response. You're teaching it that there's a superior option to alcohol. So the next time you feel that 6 p.m. pull, which will probably be tonight, you know exactly what to do. The complete neurochemical system that I've just shared, including advanced techniques for high-stress situations, customization for specific triggers, and a 100-day systematic approach that guarantees permanent craving elimination, that's all in my free training, How to Get Control Over Alcohol. If you want the complete systematic approach that's helped over 200 professionals achieve permanent alcohol freedom, the training shows you exactly how to do that. And the link to that training is down below in the description. So right now you have 2 choices. You can keep white knuckling your way through 6 p.m. and still having the exact same craving in 5 years' time, or you can start to redirect your brain chemistry starting tonight. The complete training that shows you exactly how to eliminate your cravings instead of resisting them is linked in the description below. So stop fighting your brain and start redirecting it.